Welcome back to Silencer Recaps. Today, we will recap a horror and thriller film called No One Leaves, released in 2012. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The film begins in a pitch-black forest, where we see Emma Ward, an heiress who screams through the darkness as she runs barefoot, desperate to escape. She barely makes it a few steps before shards of glass cuts through her feet. Wincing, Emma pulls the glass out and keeps running. She nearly reaches the road, but a trap catches her, suspending her in the air. Still screaming, Emma grabs a piece of glass and carves into a tree. Emma is alive. The scene shifts to a couple driving, a woman named Betty and a man known only as the driver. They are heading somewhere, though Betty is in a foul mood about leaving town and blames the driver. He tries to lighten the mood, but Betty isn't interested. Night falls, and they stop at a hotel. At check-in, the driver hands over his credit card. The receptionist comments on his unusual name, but doesn't ask questions. Later, in their hotel room, they turn on the TV. A news report covers the missing girl, Emma from the forest. Detectives have found the carvings on a tree, which have apparently been there for 6 months. Scars are visible on Betty's skin. The driver apologizes for something in their past, something called chance. Meanwhile, a gang of thieves led by Hogue breaks into a mansion. The crew includes Hogue's brother Ethan, Ethan's girlfriend Maria, Danny, and Flynn, who is dating Hogue's daughter and is mostly a deadweight. The job goes wrong when the family returns home early. The father tries to call 911, but Flynn panics and shoots everyone before the call can go through. Hogue is furious that Flynn just killed the whole family. With gunshots echoing and the police are likely on their way, the gang flees. Back at the hotel, the driver tries to discuss dinner plans with Betty, but she remains cold. She makes a sarcastic remark about him to consult his other girlfriend for dinner choices. Eventually, they go to a restaurant across the gas station. Their waitress, Amber, is Hogue's daughter. Not long after, Hogue and his crew arrive, tense and hungry. Flynn notices Betty and the driver, strutting over to cause trouble. The couple tries to ignore him, but the driver finally tells Flynn to leave them alone. Flynn becomes aggressive, especially with Betty, and things nearly turn violent. Hogue steps in, pulls Flynn away, and scolds him for causing problems in the restaurant. The trouble doesn't end there. On the way back to the hotel, Flynn ambushes the couple, smashes their car window, and causes them to crash off the road. Convinced they must have money, Flynn steals the car and plans to get the driver's bank code, and tries to involve Hogue and Ethan. Hogue's patience runs out, and he warns Flynn that another mistake will be his last. Betty and the driver wake up tied to chairs inside a gas station, their hands bound. Ethan appears, holding a knife to Betty's throat and threatening to kill her. Suddenly, Betty turns cold toward the driver. She tells him they'll see each other in the afterlife and presses her neck to the killing her. The driver saw what happened and lost it. He broke out of his restraints and attacked Ethan. But by the time the driver was done, Betty was dead. Flynn started searching the driver's car, hoping for answers, but all Flynn found at first was a wallet and some boring papers. Then Flynn popped the trunk, where he sees 2 holes in the wall, eyes staring back, so he panicked and jumped out. There was a young girl hiding in the trunk, wedged behind the car's lining. Flynn and Maria tried to help the girl inside, while everyone else watched nervously from the house. Hogue and the others rushed downstairs when they heard the noise. The girl started screaming at everyone, telling them to run for their lives, because the man who owned the car was dangerous. The girl warned them that he'd probably come back to kill them all. Amber burst in, saying she couldn't reach Ethan. The girl didn't hesitate to say that Ethan is dead, and no doubts about it. Hogue sent Danny and Maria to the gas station to check. When Danny and Maria got there, they weren't ready for what they saw. Ethan's face was bloody and lifeless. Betty was dead too, and the driver had vanished. Danny and Maria loaded Ethan's body into the van and drove back, shaken. Back at the house, Amber handed the girl some clothes. While changing, Amber saw numerous scars on the girl's body, the same as the ones Betty had, proof that the driver had made the girl his previous victim. Suddenly, Amber recognized her. The girl was Emma Ward, the heiress who disappeared after killing 14 of her friends at the start of the film. The driver was behind the massacre, though. Now, the The Ward family was offering $2 million for any leads to find their daughter. Danny and Maria came back with grim faces and revealed the news about Ethan. Hogue saw his brother's body and snapped. Hogue swore he'd hunt the driver down no matter what. After Danny and Flynn moved Ethan's body to the shed, something horrifying happened. The corpse moved, and the bloody driver crawled out from inside. At the same time, Emma attacked the gang, trying to escape, but Hogue stopped Emma. Emma saw the driver outside, drenched in blood, and coldly told Hogue she'd just wait for the driver to kill them all. The driver cleaned himself up, grabbed his weapons, and got ready for another round. When Hogue and his men search for the driver, Hogue is caught by an iron arrow to the chest.
You see him? Come on, fight like a man!
Danny is hit by one of the driver's traps too, while Flynn and Maria fired back, but it was useless. They had to fall back. Danny started to panic, bleeding out and wondering he might be the next one to die. Flynn and Maria argued about getting Danny to the hospital, but right then, the driver blew up their van. They were trapped, and fighting was the only option left. The driver captured Hogue and, in a brutal bit of revenge, shoved Hogue into a meat grinder. Hogue screamed and thrashed as the driver told Hogue he wasn't a serial killer. He was just a lunatic who loved killing in groups. One last shove, and Hogue was gone. The machine grinds him to nothing.
No, please!
Back at the house, Amber asked Emma why Emma was the only one left alive. Emma just shrugged and said maybe the driver had fallen in love with her. The story jumps back. The driver locks himself inside with Emma, saying he'll be stuck there forever unless he lets himself out. He tells her all this and even shows her how to save his life. Then, without warning, the driver slashes his own neck, leaving Emma no choice but to save him to get out of this place. After the van explodes and Hogue ends up dead, Amber and Maria start fighting. Before things get messy, someone knocks at the door. The group checks it out and spots a bag hanging outside. Flynn looks closer and sees Hogue's ring dangling from the bag. That's when Flynn loses it. Flynn kicks the bag, and to everyone's horror, bits of Hogue spill onto the floor. Danny and Amber hatch a plan to escape in the old Jeep parked in the garage. They sneak in, but the Jeep refuses to start. Danny has to jump out to check for the engine. Just as he gets it running, the driver shows up out of nowhere and attacks him. Amber freezes, then bolts into the woods. The maniac chases Amber down and stabs her with Hogue's knife. Flynn and Maria hear Amber scream, but neither can help. Emma begs them to get out while they still can. With Danny dead in the garage, Maria breaks down. But when Maria sees Danny is still breathing, she begged them to take him to the hospital. Later, while they're driving, Amber suddenly stumbles into the road. Flynn accidentally hits Amber, killing her instantly. They drop Danny at the hospital and keep running from the driver. Night falls, and the group stops at that same grim highway hotel from the beginning of the film. Flynn uses the driver's credit card to pay, but the receptionist gets suspicious. She calls the sheriff, sensing something seriously wrong. While Maria showers, Flynn starts yelling at Emma. Emma thinks fast, slips away, and joins Maria in the bathroom, terrified that Flynn might kill her. Maria steps in, hands Emma her gun, and says it's time to fight back. Flynn is about to let Emma go when the sheriff bursts in, demanding ID. Without thinking, Flynn shoots and kills him on the spot. Meanwhile, the driver sneaks into the bathroom and kills Maria. Emma finds a chance and bolts outside, with Flynn right behind her. Suddenly, the driver crashes into Flynn, sending him flying. Emma panics and fires at the driver, until she runs out of bullets. Emma runs, while the driver is right on her tail. The driver begs Emma to accept him, but she fights back with a metal pipe. Flynn appears with a shotgun and fires, but the driver shoves Emma aside and takes the hit, protected by his Kevlar vest. A brutal fight breaks out between Flynn and the driver. Flynn almost kills the driver, but Emma steps in, knocks Flynn down, and grabs the shotgun. Emma, rattled, insists she's the only one who will end him, but Emma forgets to reload the shotgun. The gun's empty. The driver, oddly impressed by Emma's guts, tells her she's free now. Then the driver pulls a knife and slices open Emma's stomach to pull out the tracker he used to follow her all along. Emma is sprawled out on the road, helpless. The driver doesn't hesitate. He pulls out his gun again and shoots Flynn, cold as ice. The receptionist witnesses everything, so now he's in the crosshairs too. He is not spared too. When the sun comes up, the driver is already on the move. He heads straight to the hospital, where Danny is recovering. The driver slips in, whispers something terrifying on Danny. No one is getting out of this alive. Then he eliminates the last member of Hoag's crew. He doesn't even use a gun this time, just a clipboard, right there in the hospital bed. Meanwhile, a news reporter finally puts it together. Emma has been a hostage of Hoag's gang all along. Danny is gone now, and as the driver is leaving, he spots Emma on a stretcher, being rushed into the hospital. He walks over, takes her hands for a moment, and that's where the movie cuts to black.